Hey everybody, welcome to Jacob's Quest, and today I just finished watching Alex Garland's newest movie, Civil War, which, the trailers and the anticipation of this movie has been, I would say, what's the word, contentious? Look, a lot of people saw the trailer and they see, like, what it's about, and they're kind of like, it's an election year. Does something like this need to even happen? And on top of that, once you see the trailer, a lot of people have questions like, wait, in the movie, Florida and Texas are together on the same side? That doesn't make any sense. And this is going to be something that frustrates a lot of people, I think, is that the movie never makes it clear, what political side the president is on. The Western forces, which is Texas and California, they don't ever make it clear, like, these are Republicans, these are Democrats, these are this and this, and these are this and this. They never actually say out loud who is who and why this all, like, officially started. They do reference several events that, like, kind of seem very real world possible, but they never, like, entirely make it clear. And I can tell that that's going to definitely frustrate a lot of people, especially because a lot of you guys kind of want answers. You saw the trailer and you're like, okay, well, they'll explain it. They'll answer it. And they do not. You see, like, the Western forces kind of seem to have control of the military. And really, we're, like, in the last couple days of this Civil War. So, like, the Civil War has been going on for several years, and we're, like, in the waning days of it. And we're following this journalist crew who's trying to get an interview and photography, and footage of the president and this big, like, climactic ending event of, like, and they're kind of joking, like, I hope we get there before the president dies, and stuff like that, which is like, oh man. And again, we're in an election year in real life, and I think this is just going to be one of those movies where both sides are going to be able to place themselves as one side or the other in this movie. They're gonna be like, well, this side over here is definitely us. And the movie does not say that. So and I think this was all by design. A lot of people are saying, like, oh, well, Alex Garland is British, he's not American, so, like, there's no way that he would understand, like, how any of this would work. But I think a lot of this was intentional. I think, like, for example, like, the whole Texas and California thing and not explaining why they're aligned together, I think that was intentional because the whole point, the real point of this movie is how, war bad, how destructive warfare can be on society, on a psychological level for, like, your average person. And this is really a road trip movie where this journalist crew runs into several different groups, and you can kind of see varying degrees of what I would call madness. Like, people who are not even necessarily part of any military group. They're just, like, a couple guys with some guns who've taken over this gas station, or it's a couple guys who are in they're in camis, they're in camo gear, but they're not, like, they don't have, like, a badge or anything. They don't say, like, oh, we're with this side, we're with that side. They're kind of just burying a bunch of bodies, and you're like, who are these people? We don't know, but now suddenly we're hostage to whoever the hell these people are. So this is a very intense movie. It's a very, like, grounded, serious movie. A lot of it feels very real. And again, I think the whole point of not getting answers as to why certain people are aligned with other people, or why, like, what even started this? What even, is this Republicans who did this? Is it Democrats who did this? And again, the whole point is that it happened, and this is just about, like, the what happened, not the why it happened, and it's just like, this is a warning sign, like, this is like, hey, look, regardless of what ends up starting it, regardless of, who's responsible or whatever, the fact is, like, if something like this happens, this is how horrible it could get, and that's what the movie is. That's what it's about. So, I think once you understand that, and once you're like, oh, okay, you don't really need the why, it's about the what, and it's like, oh shit, like, stuff gets bad, serious, quick, like, your average Joe down the street, Bubba Joe, who him and his redneck buddies, who even knows who they're aligned with? Maybe nobody officially. They just got some guns and they're like, well, we're gonna do some stuff, you know, and yeah, that seems realistic. Yeah. So yeah, just I was fascinated with this movie throughout, and it's definitely gonna be one of those things that like a lot of people, and again, I think both sides are gonna claim like parts of this movie. You know, I think you're gonna have people be like, oh, this is what happens if Joe Biden does this, and then the other side's gonna be like, this is what happens when Donald Trump does this, you know. And it's like, again, the point of the movie is not the why, it's the what, you know. It's like, regardless of how this starts, it's like the fact that if this does happen, so yeah, I think this is gonna be a contentious one. It's gonna be very controversial, especially in some of its depictions, and especially like depending on what you see in it, you know. Like it's kind of like it feels like going in this movie feels like Luke Skywalker going into the cave on Dagobah, you know. He's like, what's in there? It's like, only what you take with you. You know, so like whatever you bring with you into this movie, whatever your ideology already is, whatever your political side is, whatever your thoughts on like how realistic this could happen or this could not happen is, that's what you're gonna get when you see this movie, you know. So in any case, this was really well shot. The action scenes are amazing, and it's definitely like, it's not, what I say, it's not an action movie as in like, it's not like, oh, our heroes are like invincible and they're gonna like, you know, survive everything. Not all of them do. Spoiler alert. You know, like they treat this as a very real world, like, you know, war journalists on the ground. Some of them get into some shit, you know, and like stuff almost happens many times, and some stuff does happen, and it's like, yeah, this is not like a heroic action film. This is like a, you know, I felt like I was watching The Last of Us, but instead of, you know, an infection, it was people who did this, you know. So yeah, it gets pretty intense. I really enjoyed the movie, and I do feel like this is gonna be one that, like, you know, it's gonna be something that some people claim as their own, and it's gonna be people who, you know, I don't politically align with are probably gonna be like, this movie's our movie, it means this, you know. And I'm gonna be like, I don't think you got the point of the movie. I don't feel like you understood what they were going for here, but okay. But it's definitely, I would say it's definitely worth a watch, and it's definitely like, you know, don't come in here expecting answers, right? Like sometimes I go into these, what I would call post-apocalyptic movies, you know, these movies where like society's been torn down and now it looks very different, like you know, even the Hunger Games movies, you know, like I go into those like, so how did this happen exactly, you know, and we never really get an answer. We kind of just like, this is society now. It's like that, but on a much more serious adult level, you know. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one. And like I said, just remember what Yoda said. Only what you take with you is what you're gonna get out of this, you know. So if you think so and so side is absolutely the ones fully responsible for everything happening, there you go. That's the message you're probably gonna take away from the movie. So anyways, let me know what you guys think about Civil War, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.